Boom. Now we are recording and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing?
So good. So good.
Oh my gosh. What a pleasure. Would you like to do the introductions, Nick, or
This is
should I
all
take it
you,
away?
my friend.
All righty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am excited about today's episode. I'm excited about all episodes, but this one's always fun just because it's always fun when you do an episode with a person that you've known for a while. So we have with us today the legendary Chris Q. Some people might know his not as well-known brother Brandon, who sold
Yeah, right.
just kidding. Who sold a few summers as well with Southwestern. He's been in a couple episodes, but this time around we needed to hear. We had enough of the old bull. We wanted some of the young calf, and we have a legendary bookmaker with us. Obviously, top first year, fantastic student manager, and we're going to hear a little bit about what he's up to now. So, with no further ado, Mr. Chris Q, everyone, thank you for being here, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You know, I figured if we were going to have Brandon, we were like, at some point, we need to hear Chris Q's story.
Definitely different experiences, that's for sure.
Of course, of course. Let's hop to it then. So, Chris, you had yourself an awesome career in the books, selling out of Northern Iowa. You are currently in Iowa, is that correct?
I am in Iowa, yes.
There you go. Awesome. Well, it's exciting to be catching up for the first time since Brandon and Amanda's wedding, for sure. Just kind of curious. Let's talk about this whole book thing that you did. We've known each other for a long time. Just kind of curious what your thought was, having an older brother who went off to do it before you. How did you get involved in this whole door knocking craziness? Tell us your story.
Yeah, actually, that story is kind of funny. I was like 1 month into college, freshman year, and my brother said, "Hey, this guy named Nick Henderson wants to meet you. Can you come to the Union at 7 a.m.?" I was like, "Guy wants to meet me? Okay, cool. I don't mind meeting people." And I get there, and it's Nick Henderson, Grayson Jones, and my brother. And my brother didn't say anything about this being like an info session or anything. He just said a guy wants to meet me. So I get there, and he's got the computer up, and he's got like the whole slideshow, and he proceeds to do the whole info session notebook with me. And I think I showed up in like sweatpants and a t-shirt. Like I didn't know this was any sort of recruitment. I thought I don't know what I was thinking. So after he went through the whole thing, and at first I was like a little bit upset. I'm like, why would my brother throw me under the bus like that? Not give me a heads up. But I went into the interview process, and Grayson Jones was doing the interviews, and he's a legend. And at first I was like, there's no way I want to do this. And then by the end I was begging to do it.
So you were like aware that Brandon had sold like the 2 summers prior or the 1 summer prior, is that right?
3. He'd done 3 summers.
And he kind of just hit you with the, like, you eventually got into college, and you said you had your first year, and then that was when you went after that to go sell books, right?
Yeah, it was after my freshman year. So I figure I was probably one of the first people selected for that entire class, because this was probably in September of freshman year. I hadn't even been in college for like a full month.
That's what Kitty Grassi said about how she was recruited, because she saw that right summer as you. Mm-hmm. She said that I guess it was you two that were the first 2 for sure, right?
Yep. Yeah, because she was gonna do it the year before that, and then didn't. So she already knew she was gonna. But yeah, I was gung ho on doing it.
That's wild. So then because it was your older brother, I'm asking from my memory of recruiting Danny, were you pretty coachable throughout the whole way? Because Danny was not. I mean, Danny, I don't think even we never had any sort of training or anything like that until he got to Nashville. So were you pretty on top of it, or listening to your brother, or were you kind of it's Brandon, I don't need to listen to him? What was your attitude?
No, I would say I was really coachable. I mean, he had his third summer done like 7,500 units or something, so I knew that it was going to be really, really tough, and that he was good at it. So no, I feel like I was pretty coachable. I think they tried to have him teach me the least of anybody, though. I mean, all the other managers were
Stepping in.
doing a lot of the training for me. Maggie Dietzel did, I think, a lot of it with me. So I was kind of Brandon's right hand person.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, I was definitely coachable.
And so when you went into the summer, were you like pretty confident, or did it rock you? What was that like that first experience when you actually like left and went and did it?
Well, I had a steak day on my first day on the book field.
No way.
What?
And it's like, yeah, I sold 3 Advantage sets. Like morning, I think I made my first sale half down at like 9:30 in the morning. I was in the house for like 45 minutes. And then I sold one like at like the slow period, like 3 o'clock. And then I sold another one at like 8:30. So I come back, and I think my manager roommate like didn't sell anything. And he's like going through, he's like, units. And I'm like 102. And like, I remember after that first day, I was just driving home, and I'm like, all right, if I do this every day, I'm going to make $40,000. Did not happen. It was not that easy. If I would have kept that pace, I would have made $40,000.
Yeah, right.
But some people do, and like that's okay.
So what happened?
Well, you didn't live with Brandon?
PR.
Oh.
No, I didn't live with him.
Oh, that's interesting.
No, I don't think that would have been good. I don't think that one would have been a good fit.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know. I figured. I mean, because Danny
did
lived.
you and Danny live together?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I specifically asked for it. Like he came out late after, because he was in high school still when I recruited him. So he came after his senior year of high school, and I was just by myself with Manny, I guess. So it was just the two of us, specifically waiting so Danny could live with me, because he came out like 4 weeks later. Yeah. I was like, you bet there's no way he's living with someone else. I got this. I want to train him.
So you were had a hot start. Like you say, the PR was the factor there in Louisiana. Like what kind of PR are we talking about?
Yeah.
I was hitting between 250 and 350 for like the first 6 weeks, and then I think it was on like on a Saturday. Going back through it, I met with someone, and as I'm talking, I find out she's like the superintendent or something. And she didn't want to buy anything, but I was like, would you mind write something in my book? And she didn't feel comfortable doing it. And by that next Monday, it was all over the news that immediately she got on the phone and said, we got someone claiming to be with the schools. We got to get this. So they were leaving like automated voice messages to the entire school, all the schools around there. Do not let this guy in. I still only had 3 0 days. My first summer, I still only had 3 0 days. So I was still selling some. I mean, but some days it was like 7 units sold instead of my books or whatever. But yeah. So first 6 weeks were all good, and then it like kind of slowed down, and then kind of finished strong. But I mean, the deliveries was fun, because then people were like, I thought you just scammed me. Like, cool. Like, thanks for bringing the books. I don't have the second half, but we'll figure something out. I'm like, I told you I was coming back.
Dang, bro. So you like wrote up a certain amount of units, but delivered under that, or did you like recoup from that?
No, I think I only had like 9 cancellations come from it. Most of the time, because I mean, if the people's checks were already deposited by the time they find out that I'm the scam, then nothing they could do. But it lost me a lot of business on the front end. But as far as delivering units, I always delivered like 115% of what I wrote up. Wow. I was really good at tack-ons.
Me too. That's great.
Pretty solid.
Go ahead, Andres.
No, I was just gonna say I never really like ran into. I mean, I ran into some bad PR, but it was like always neighborhood. I never ran into like that big everybody. Like that to me, that's wild. That that you were able to do that. That's pretty sweet.
It
And
was
you
a
were
topic of conversation though. Some people were like, I just want to hear what this guy is about that I'm hearing from everyone. And some people are like, oh my gosh, it's just gossip. Like, yeah, we'll buy something from you. So I think I got some pity sales out of it too, but probably not enough to, you know.
You could have
And
been
some
number
people
one.
also aren't like, what's that?
You could have been number one, Chris, if this hadn't happened.
I
right?
was going to. I think I would have. I would have taken Hannah Reesberg out.
Tell that to Katie and Andres.
We're all.
I remember that whole. We were all doing,
Yeah, that was a good summer overall, though. I mean, because the force was kicking ass that year, so I remember, just like looking at like the pace setter and seeing who was coming up and where people were. You ended up. What number did you end up?
33.
Just like the episode, baby.
Same as this episode.
Just like the episode.
It was meant to be 33 out of like
yeah.
out of like 1,500 rookies is pretty, or however many there were. That's fucking solid, bro.
Back then it was like 1,500, 2,000 people that came out every year as a first year. So that was a good. I mean, and I did about 3,200 units at number 33. So
with PR issues,
group.
That's pretty wild.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
Yeah, and then you went on, and then walk us through like the rest of like your career, like any memorable like, you know, growth patterns and stuff like that. Other summers that you sold. Where did you go? Did you want to come back? What was that like when you came back after your first summer?
Well, the only thing that got me to come back after a first summer, because I was definitely gonna be done, was the Sizzler trip. That after that, I was like,
that's where I thought we were gonna go. Yes.
Yes. We were slosh ball champs. We went to Cabo San Lucas. That was the deciding factor. Great group of people. Yeah, that one was. I think that may have been my favorite Sizzler. Was probably the first one.
Was that the year you got MVP, or was that the next year?
No, I ended up getting slosh ball MVP my third year.
Fun times. What do you remember from that first Sizzler that you were like, yep, this is why I gotta come back?
Well, it was my first time like leaving the country even. Like I didn't even have a passport until going on the trip. And yeah, it was just, I don't know, the resort was really, really cool. Like they were enticing you, like trying to feed you alcohol drinks. As opposed to some of them that were kind of like more not trying to, like there was a girl that like they were closing the swim up bar at like 6 o'clock and it's like 5:50 or something, and she's like, can I get 30 shots of tequila? And they give her like one of those waiter things and just put 30 shots of tequila on there. So she's just going around passing them out like right before the swim up bar closes. I was like, all right. And you know, the people, because I wouldn't have experienced a GRS yet, so that was like, you know, we'd done our small ones, but like Sizzler always had more people, so
right.
Yeah, that was a good point.
Yeah, that's what got you, and you're like, I gotta just keep winning these trips. I gotta keep.
I said that I would. After my first one, I said, okay, I'm gonna keep selling books until I do not hit the trip, and I just happened to not hit it barely on my 5th summer. So it's like it's time to hang up the fanny pack.
That's funny.
So you're like just literally going out to party. I love that. I remember.
I mean, the money was good too, and the experience and everything else. But that was, I don't know. If I didn't sell enough to hit the Sizzler trip, then I figured I'm just not meant to continue.
What were you doing? How would you say that your whole experience went? Did you feel like you did an extra summer that you didn't need to do? Or was it like you really wanted to give your best, but just things got in the way?
I think I stopped at the exact right time. I did. You know, it took me 5 years to graduate. It took me 5 years to graduate college. So I did 5 summers. So then after my last one was after my last year of school. Mm-hmm. I was off schedule shit that last summer, and I still did like 4,200 units or something. It was just I barely missed the Sizzler trip. So you know, it was my biggest check of all of them as far as like expenses. It was finally like
Oh,
the
wow.
first year I didn't have car problems on the book field. So I got my biggest check and then did some time traveling. I think I timed it exactly. I didn't stay too long. I didn't leave too early.
That's positive.
I just didn't recruit very much. That's what I should have done.
Yeah.
Oh,
Recruit a little
interesting.
bit more in school.
Oh well, right. Could have been
Well-
a good Southwestern career.
Well, I was gonna ask about that. Like, was that something that you like? Did you ever want to go DSM? Was that ever in the cards for you, or did you know, hey, at some point
No,
So you
I
knew.
knew it was just a kind of means to an end.
Interesting. Because most people we talk
Good
to,
money in school.
yeah, it's great. I mean, of course, and the experience and shit, and we can talk
Oh yeah.
about that for hours. And I guess we can, but I guess most people that we've talked to, I shouldn't say most, but a lot of the people that we've talked to for sure have said that they stayed a summer too long. And so
Not
that's
everyone,
just,
but a lot.
not everyone, but a lot. So it's a kind of interesting. It's rare to find people like you where you're like, yep, it was like a clean poop. You didn't have to wipe, just solid. Gone.
Yeah.
Just
So then-
equating Southwestern experience to shit right there. No.
You need to go through all the shit to find all the ponies, and Nick just froze. We just look at that. Should we take a screenshot of this? I think we should.
Yeah, Nick's just. Oh, there he is.
There we go. I'm back. I'm back.
And he's gone. And he's gone again.
He's not.
He'll come back in a sec. So then, so when you left, I mean, because I want to talk a little bit then I guess about what you're up to now and get into that. But like, talk to us about like that transition, like where walk us through the journey of you leave Southwestern, what that experience is like. Because I know for me, it's definitely strange to just like think, like that first summer after, and you're like on a Tuesday at the pool or something. You're like, I should.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? Like walk me through that transition.
The transition from being done to after that.
Yeah, to now, to where you were up to now.
Yeah, well, yeah, and so I knew going into my 5th summer that it was gonna be my last. Like I was just like, I can't do this forever. I was kind of starting to struggle a little bit. Afterwards, I mean, it was just told my brother, I told Grant, I'm like, I am definitely done. Like I'm not. I think I still ended up going to fall ball though. That was just more for fun. Because I showed up a day late. And then I interviewed with, I did some traveling with some friends road trip around the US. That was fun.
Oh.
And then I lived at my mom's house and I was kind of a bum for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. Yeah, I wasn't really job hunting or anything. It was just,
That's the opposite of a bookman schedule.
just mooching a little bit. Finally, I was like, man, I need to get a job. So I started interviewing with all the Southwestern companies. I never thought I would have been in the real estate one. Yeah, so.
So how did you?
How'd you pick there?
How what?
How'd you end up there?
How did I pick there? Well, Chicago was a good location. I kind of wanted to be in Phoenix, Arizona, but I met with Pat Roach. Pat Roach, I don't know if you guys know him really well. He's the shit. So I was like, okay, I'll give this a try, and it worked out. I mean, it was one of the few places. One thing I knew I didn't want was to have a draw, which a lot of the sister companies do, and I'm like, oh geez, put you on a draw.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted a place with salary. It wasn't too far away from home, close to Nashville. It
Yeah.
just worked out. I mean, honestly, a couple of years ago, I was thinking like, maybe I shouldn't do this. But then last year, boom, business took off, and I was like, this is my calling.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, because I've heard this from people who've been, especially Phil Zolke told us about this too, that the first couple of years that he was in, it was rough. It's kind of like the first 3 weeks of the summer that they were like pretty tough. And then what changed for you? Like, what clicked? What was it? Just the experience? Like, well, what made you go from like this, I'm out, I might be leaving this, to just boom?
It was just putting the pressure on myself, like kind of taking a crutch away. I worked on a team for the first 3 years, so it was like it wasn't guaranteed money, but when you have a top producer, like you get a cut of all of those. it was, hey, he's going to close deals and I'm going to have some money that I can rely on, whether it's going to be a lot, some months, maybe some not. But then I left the team and I was like, it's sink or swim time. Don't want to be on a team forever, because you're never going to make a ton of money. So I just kicked it into gear, and last year it worked out. I mean, once COVID hit, I was kind of shitting myself. I'm like, oh my goodness, I
Yeah,
don't know what I'm going to do. But the real estate market's held up phenomenally since COVID
really.
started. Oh yeah.
Oh, I wonder why that is. That's super interesting. I would have thought that maybe COVID would have been brutal.
Yeah, I mean, they dropped the interest rates, so that got people that maybe weren't playing. It was already going to be a phenomenal year, but the dropping interest rates definitely helped. And then we were considered essential, so just kept working through it.
Oh wow, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
And would you say like your Southwestern experience helped with some of this? Like what part of it do you think that you carried on the most with, like the things that you learned into what you're doing now?
Oh man. I mean, I would say the biggest thing is just like you can find an excuse or you can find a way, and that was kind of, I'd been using an excuse to work on a team, and that's why I don't sell a whole lot. And it was just like find a way to do it or find a new industry. I didn't want to do it, especially because I work 7 days a week, pretty much on the clock 24/7. So, I mean, if you're going to do that kind of job, at least make a lot of money doing it.
Right.
Well said.
Damn. Some quick wisdom with Chris Q. It's like pow.
It's just like, it only makes sense to do well at your job because you're doing it. Why not? Right.
Yeah. Don't be bad at your job. Like, don't be bitter. Be better.
Oh, ooh, that's good. Write that down.
This is okay. We are recording this for those who want to listen again later. This is music, food for my soul.
This is good. Write that down. As far as like, well, I guess Nick, you've been eating, Nick. So do you got any questions before I continue to barrage this man?
All I was gonna say is like, this is what I love most about you, Chris. Is just you're like a dense, not dense. That's the poor word. You're like concentrated goodness, man. Like you don't overshare because you know exactly what you need to say. And like every time I hang out with you, it's earnest. It's just real, man. You're grounded. And like your work ethic and what you've been able to do, man, it's awesome. It's impressive. I love you, dude. It's cool to know that you're doing good over there in Chicago and Iowa. And I think that you're like real salt of the earth type people representing the Midlands, right? The heart of America. Yeah, dude. So I'm kind of curious to bring attention to that, like. That's what Andres and I know, kind of. I mean, Andres is a comedian and kind of like, wacky too, but we're from the Midwest. What was your experience dealing with the vast range of different college students from across the country and making friends with people who don't know your lifestyle at all?
Making friends with other college kids. I mean, you share something in common with selling books.
True that.
I mean, everybody's got the same goals and aspirations. They want to do really well. So I don't know. I mean, I'm probably not as popular as you guys, but
I don't think we're popular at all. Otherwise, you're just like regular old bookheads. But with that, like, I feel like when you sell books, it does give you this like weird perspective when you go meet people from other parts of the country like that. Like, have you, like, along the same lines, like even like the culture shock of, I can't imagine what Louisiana must have been like when you go knock there. Like that must have been like a freaking train wreck, going from Iowa to, or were you used to that? Was it what you were expecting?
No, not at all. It was crazy culture shock. I mean, you get some people, honestly, like you're knocking on the door, it's 100 degrees out, and lady answers the door and, hey, are you the mom here? And then she goes, get in here. And I'm like, okay, cool. She's heard about me. I take my shoes off. I'm like, so you heard about me? She's like, no. What are you doing? Like, why'd you let me in? Because it's 100 degrees out and you look sweaty.
Like you're dying.
That's awesome.
Look like you're dying. I'm like, no, I'm selling books. And everybody's a little different. Some are just like, all right, I'll take some books. You're like, what? What is happening? Now she probably thinks they're $5, books, whatever. I'm selling a copy of John Maxwell's book. Yeah, I mean that was the Southern hospitality that you get,
Did you?
but they don't like you cold knocking it after dark, which was something that I regularly had to do.
Yeah, I would say that's probably a common occurrence among most parts of the country. In Massachusetts, they don't like it when you knock in the dark. They are very upset.
People in general just don't want you knocking on their door at 9:00 at night.
I don't think I'd want
But
it.
you get,
I don't know, Chris. Their lights are on. You should just go bother them real quick because you care about their kids' education. Damn it.
their lights are on. I better go. But you definitely get greeted with a lot of guns down south. Like whip, wrong house. I meant
How
to
many
knock
times-
over there.
How many times that happened to you? How many times did you get a gun? I got one my first summer.
One?
Yeah, I've only got one.
Oh,
ever.
I mean, through 5 summers, probably 15-ish. I mean, I
15
remember one
guns?
time I had one. Probably, yeah. I was down. I mean, between Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi.
At you, or just people had guns? Because there was like 4 people that I remember having. They were like, I have a gun. And I'm like, oh yeah, no. There was one that they were like, I just sideways, and I just hear and I go, hey. Hold on.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I remember hearing one. I swear the guy right on the other side of the door. He did it. I'm just like, oh my god. I think I like laid down. It was just like, please don't shoot. I'm selling books. I'll never come back here again.
Oh.
That was scary. Who are you? It's 9:30. I'm like, oh my god.
Jesus.
I
Did you ever?
need to get my demos in.
Sorry, I gotta get 30. Did you ever go back to the same
I get
house?
30. Yeah. Yeah, I went to I mean, I think on one of my first days, I went to the same house like 3 times, and like, I went to them, not interested, come back. I'm going halfway through. She's like, you were already here. You know that, right? Oh, no. Third time that I went to her house, I got out, and right as I'm walking up is when I recognized her. I'm like, I was already here, wasn't I? Said, yeah, I'm like, see ya.
Maybe what if that was like your first day? It was the same person that just felt bad for you because you went back 3 times and sold him swag. Just like, oh, this poor kid. Here's another $250. Go away.
This poor kid.
Those were the moments. Hey, I do have a question for you to kind of tangent here. I've been to I don't know how many weddings in the last 3 years. A lot. Of weddings in the last 3 years, and of all the best man speeches in my life that I've heard, yours has got to be in the top 2 or 3, maybe top number 1. That was
what was so funny about it,
bro. Like, did you mean for it to be that funny? Let me ask you that first before I go into this. Like, was this?
Yes, I was intending it to be.
Well then, damn. I mean, the cues are all comedians then.
No, you should take Brandon's job away from him.
Yeah.
I'm funnier than him. He just, goes up on stage and does it.
Yeah, he's just a try hard.
Do you still have it?
Tries.
Is there a video of it somewhere? Is there a video of that speech somewhere?
Best man speech?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Instagram.
Nice.
Oh, we gotta pull this up. We gotta.
Okay. Are you gonna pull this up right now and share the screen, Andres? Is that what you're saying?
I think I'm gonna pull this up and share
Is that
the
how
screen.
it works? Yeah, you guys are technology.
Yeah, this is happening. It's on your Instagram or on Brandon's Instagram, Chris.
Oh, is it? Okay. So hang on.
It's on mine.
Let me.
It's on his.
Oh, it's on yours. Okay, so, okay, hang on.
It's on mine.
My gosh. Well, and I can tell you while I'm looking this up why this was funny. It's because, you were just hitting all the notes, man. When you pause for the ad break for Amanda
Amanda Q does isogenics, and she paid Chris Q to advertise for her MLM.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought of that one like the day before. I was like, oh, that'd be perfect.
Okay, here we go. I am on your Instagram. How far back is it? Let's see.
That's probably a while. Would have been October.
October of last. Okay, here's winter. You're over there skiing. There you are with Phil Zolke. Oh, here we go. We're at the air there. Okay, I found it. Here we go.
Share that screen, Andres.
Share screen. Share sound. Boom. Okay, share. Wait, are you seeing this?
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Okay. That was a great speech, Megan. Well, I'm Chris Q. I am Brandon's best man. And we first met while we were selling books for Wait a minute. That's not right. Here we go. I am Brandon's younger brother. As the oldest of three of us, Brandon set the bar very high. Not only in his height, but pretty much everything he did, from 4.0 GPA, full ride to Northern Iowa.
Uh-oh, shoot.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Unfortunately, the camcorder malfunctioned, so according to Brandon, we had to do it again.
Wait.
Bar very high.
There you go.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
But pretty much everything he did, from 4.0 GPA, full ride to Northern Iowa, and a successful 8-year career with Southwestern. Brandon and I are 2 years apart, so I spent a good part of my life trying to impress him. One day I just may. Let me give you an example. One time, Brandon convinced me to get into one of those mesh laundry bags so he could push me down a flight of stairs and film it. Unfortunately, the camcorder malfunctioned, so according to Brandon, we had to do it again. Which I did. But in all honesty, Brandon is the most hardworking and motivated person that I know. When he sets his eyes on something that he truly wants, he'll do whatever it takes to get it. Which is what brings us to Amanda. As Kirk had mentioned during the ceremony, Amanda, after the first date, was not interested in a second date. But look where we are 7 years later. Amanda may now just be officially my sister-in-law, but honestly, she felt like a sister long before now. We've gone on trips together, we've gotten in arguments, and on a few occasions we have teamed up to push Brandon's buttons. As I've gotten to know Amanda over the years, I've noticed one key pattern with her. She kicks ass at everything she does. From high school sports to selling books, Tom James clothing, and now isogenics. Isogenics. Your one-stop supplement shop. There, Amanda, I said it. I'm going to wrap this speech up with a quote from Brandon's favorite movie, P.S. I Love You. Finding someone you love and who loves you back is a wonderful feeling, but finding a true soulmate is an even better feeling. A soulmate is someone who understands you like no other, will be there forever no matter what. They say that nothing lasts forever, but I'm a firm believer in the fact that for some, love lives even after we're gone. To Amanda and Brandon. Amanda and Brandon. Amanda, welcome to the family.
Then I butchered their names at the end.
That was so funny.
That was so funny, dude.
Very well.
How long did you prep for that? Was that were you working on that for a while, or was this like more like, oh shit, I gotta write a speech and this came out?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, 2 weeks I started working on it before, but majority of it was on the car ride there with Nate Lee and Dakota Fish.
Oh man.
Hey, video credit to Dakota Fish for that one. He requested video credit in the comment section on this live
He was
stream on
in it.
YouTube.
Yeah, he's right. He was in it
what
for
he
a
said?
chunk of it.
Anyway, yeah, I am kind of curious, and I hate to bring too much attention to it because it's not the most positive of topics, but like I wanna like love on you, Chris, for being you, because obviously like you and your brother get paired up in a lot of things just because of the whole him being a Southwestern star and that whole thing, and Andres knows that conversation pretty well himself, just in terms of his brother went off to DSM status and all this stuff. And what would you say was your lived experience with that? Was that ever a struggle, or is it kind of like a non-issue and you're just happy to have the brother that you do?
Yeah, I'm definitely happy to have the brother that I do.
Of
It was
course.
definitely tough living in his shadow for 5 years. So that was also part of the reason why I'm like, I know I'm not going to do this forever. Just because I kind of want, and that's why I went and got into real estate, and I was like, okay, I can make, a name for myself here in real estate.
You're
Well,
killing
you're
it too.
doing a damn good job, man.
Yeah, I was gonna
Proud of
say.
you.
Well, last year
Thanks.
you did. There was like you were like up for like rookie of the year or something, right? Wasn't that did I hear that right? Or
It's called the Excellence Award. So there's a
Okay.
lot that goes into it. There's like a point system for like how many houses you sell and referrals and percentage increase. So yeah, I lost to Sydney and Dove. I think it was pretty close. I mean, if I was going to lose to somebody, I'd want to lose to her. And we're such good friends. Like when Pat was announcing it, like he had 4 of us up there, and number 4 was one of the other 2, then 3, and then we look at each other and I'm just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, she was fun to have on the podcast with Renee Dodson. She's so proud of that award, and
I know.
You were just this close, almost.
Hey, that's all right. You were number 1 in my heart, Chris.
Always.
Thanks.
Plus,
Thanks.
plus your best man speech to me, if I ever need a house. Is it
right here?
Because Grant Greeter is in real estate as well with you.
Yep.
Is that, and he started after you did, right?
Yeah.
Did it ever feel weird, like we're being a senior to Grant, like not like he was under you or anything, but just like seeing Grant as a rookie? Like, what was that like? Because I mean, he was like your mentor.
It was weird
years.
because what did he do Southwestern for like 25 years or something like that?
Yeah,
25 or something. He was calling me and asking me for advice. I was really good at running open houses and picking up clients there. So yeah, he called me and obviously he's so good at everything he does because he puts in the time and actually learns it. So, but no, it was cool. But I would say the first, like our sales school type thing that we do in January, the first time he was there was definitely weird. I'm like, dude, reunited after, I think he started after like my second year, but he's doing well at that too.
Gosh, that'd be so wild. We talked to I've talked to Will Metcher before about like how Yvette came in to consulting after he did, and when she was a rookie, and like that feeling of like, man, you're this legendary human being in sales, and like in your mind they're just like studs. They're like calling you for like, hey, so how do you? And you're like, what the fuck?
Speak to why they're so great.
Like, I only did that.
Yeah. That's also very true. So then now let's transition into some Southwestern favorite stories or memories that you have. Do you have any of these to share? Do you have like a couple big ones or anything, like the pony stories, anything like that?
Oh, let's see. I mean, there was a town in Arkansas. I should probably research it again just to, I don't know, relive my glory days. It was my 4th summer. It was Taylor, Arkansas. And it was about an hour and a half drive there from my HQ. At one point, I think Grant and Brandon said I shouldn't go that far and I should start moving up a different way. But I went against it. So I was like, my start time most days that summer, or like when I was working that little town, I wasn't getting to the territory till like 9 o'clock. So my start time would be like 9 a.m. and my stop time would usually be like 7:30, 8 o'clock, because it was such a far drive. But my second day, my first, well, I knocked on like one house in this area, like right before gravy started. I was just trying to kill some time, and this speech language, all that. She bought a set of the Ask Me's, and I was like, okay. And then the next day, I drop her name, and this super hot mom invites me in, and I think she had like a first grader or something, and like, I don't know, 3-year-old or something, and I start showing her the kids' books. She's not really into it. I'm like, oh shit, okay. So I show her the Advantage books. She's like, I want those, and she bought them, paid in full, and then she goes and gets a piece of paper and draws a little map of the town, and it's like, go to this person, go to this person, and writes their names down and everything. I think of the 9 people she wrote down, I think 7 of them bought either a 4-set book or a platinum, which I think was the 6-book plus ACT.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so that town, and I was really stupid with my pre-approach. I had, the normal size pre-approach, and I actually got the entire town on one page, but it was just these tiny little dots, and I didn't want to like break it up into sections. So I wish I would have like kept it or like taken a picture of it, because every time I made a sale, I highlighted them in a certain color. And
Yeah.
this was, I think this one was just obliterated with like 40, 50 of the purchased color. So in like, I think it took 1, maybe 2 weeks. I probably dropped like 1,200 units just in this small little town. I mean, honestly, I'm guessing it's only a town of population of a couple thousand.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, and like on our Sunday meeting, like before my second week there, Grant was doing a part of just show everything, and then I just started showing everything, and then people were just buying everything. On my last, I had a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think I had collectively like 60 units, but then my Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I ended up with like 560 or something. So I was just like killing. I mean, everybody was buying.
Everybody's getting it.
Everybody was legitimately getting it.
Do you think
funny.
that was like a state of flow that you were in, or just like the town? Like, how much of that do you attribute to like yourself, and like how like to into that like zone?
Probably a combo. I mean, honestly, that mom that I met that dropped all the names, she told everybody I was coming. So a lot of them were just like, yeah, I know her, she vouched for her. And then like she would see me, and it was such a small town, like I probably ran into her like 3 other times. I delivered her books right on the spot. I was a manager, and she paid for them in full. But I'd be hanging out at the post office, on my lunch break or something, and hey, Chris. And yeah, I think she kind of set me up for success in that town. But it actually was, I mean, it went to the lady that bought the Ask Me, who got me essentially dropped her name. And yeah, that was a fun area. Taylor, Arkansas. I'll never forget it.
Arkansas.
My work stats were so messed up because it was like 11-hour days, because I said it was an hour and a half drive. 11-hour days. It was like 17 demos, 12 sit downs, 8 customers.
Damn.
And they're like,
Whoa.
these stats aren't making any sense at all. I don't know.
Here's the money.
I don't know. I'm just my closing percentage was like 70% or something, but I was not getting into 30 demos in that area.
That's wild. That's wild. When I remember because I had a similar experience like that in my second summer. I was selling in
Mhm.
a little town called South Kingston. I go to check in. Town clerk
Mhm.
is the same as the town administrator, is the same as like the blah 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 blah. This is the place where I had the weightlifting pony, uh, Nick, that I've told that I think in one of the episodes before. But I check in and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, and she was super cool. And she was the lady that everybody in town knew. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just selling some educational books."
Mhm.
And I show her, and she's like, "Do they cover math?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so she bought like a 1 through 4. And so I was like, "Well, that's a good start." The town clerk who checks you in gives you the permit. And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Is there a permit?" She's like, "No, you just go ahead and we'll let people know that you're coming and you should be fine." And I said, "Okay."
Wow.
And then I go, "Is there anything I need to know about the town that would be helpful?" She goes, "Well," and because she had just bought, she's like, she kind of gave me not a ton of pre-approach as far as like on everybody, but just on the town itself. She goes, "Well, there's only 45 households in the whole town, and like 38 of them have families. So only like it's only
Hmm.
mostly families. It's little tiny village." And I was like, "Cool." So I was like, I have 38 potential customers. And over the span of 2 weeks, I ended up selling to 36 customers. So only two
Whoa.
families did not buy in the whole town. And that maybe tiny little bit. Maybe it was like, maybe there was only like 200 people in the whole town, like a tiny little village. And I went, and every house, it was just like, yep. And everybody bought 1 through 4. So I sold like 530 1 week, and then 600 exactly the next week. I had PC. That was my second summer. And it was just like, I don't know what the hell happened, but I couldn't miss. It was just like, yeah, they got, and everybody knew everybody, so they knew all the names. So by the time I was getting to like the 12th customer, it was just like they knew. They're like, "Oh, you're Andres." I'm like, "Yeah." And so they're like, "We'll just have what the
It's
Petersons bought."
me.
And like, sweet. And they're like the 1 through 5. And I was doing it shopping cart style, which I had never done before, which I don't know if I'd recommend, but I was just like, you could pick whatever you want out of the slick, and they would go that one, that one, that one. And usually they end up
So you
being
weren't
like
even
a
doing like you weren't doing like intros and stuff. Like you just.
No, I was still doing the whole thing.
Oh.
And I should say not everybody, like the people that were able to get advantage books, they got advantage books, but if they had babies, some of
Mhm.
them got like mufus, but like everybody was buying something. Like it was
Yeah.
just you're going to get something. I don't know what you're going to get to shopping carts. So some people would just go, "I just want the kids dictionaries." I'm like, "Cool." But in my head, I'm like, I shouldn't do that. I should sell packages. But then I
Yeah.
would go to the next house and it was like, "I'll take this. Oh, and I have nephews, so throw those ask me's in." And you're like, "Okay, well, I guess I just made up for the other lady that just got the mufus." You know what I mean? Um,
Mhm.
Thinking back, I'm like, I should have probably just said, "Hey, everybody's getting 1 through 5 plus I explore and learn or something," and then sold that.
Yep.
But yeah, it's an interesting flow to get into, and it's just like, can't miss. This is great. Like, it's fun. And then I got
Yeah.
to the next
I
town
mean,
and just
that's
bought.
the legitimate times where everybody actually is getting them. Sometimes you're having a bad day. You're like, everyone's getting them. But literally nobody's getting them. Oh, everybody's getting them. Who else bought from you? You're like, nobody. I haven't made a sale yet today.
Oh man. And or when you're like, "Oh yeah, they bought," and then you don't know, but they had canceled. And then you
Yeah.
come find out like 3 weeks later that they
If it's
canceled,
a
and you've been
power
telling
name, you
everybody.
keep
Yeah.
using it.
Yeah. But later on, I didn't know that until later on. You're like, "Oh, they canceled." Shit. Like everybody thinks that they got him.
Oh, really? That's my best friend. Let me get her on the phone. And you're like,
Right.
shit. Please don't answer.
Oh my God.
So that's kind of how the book field plays out. I'm just curious. This is just the smallest side. We can get back to the pony stories real quick. Have you like gotten anything like that with your successes in real estate? It's probably not
Oh
really a
yeah.
name game industry, is it?
I mean, you get into like groups of friends, like
Cool.
that you help all of them.
Okay.
One like I'd say it's more common like when you have a really good first time home buyer that just loves your service. They're gonna if they're the first one of their like friend group to buy a house, they're gonna refer you to everyone else that's in their friend group. I'd say that's probably the most.
Hmm.
Or if you sell like a tough house to sell in a neighborhood, you might get like I had one last year that was in a flood zone and it was a really tough one to sell and I got it sold, and then a couple other that weren't selling in that area were like, "What did you do?" And okay, well, it's your house sold too. Probably the most relatable thing.
Hmm.
That's pretty
That's,
fun.
I don't even
It's
know.
fun.
Like, was it? I feel like getting into real estate would be super intimidating. I wouldn't even know the first thing. Like, how I don't even know what. I've
You
never
know,
bought a
I
home.
would think it would be more intimidating too, but it seems like everybody wants to get the real estate license, and I'm just like, you're like helping people buy and sell hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of homes. Like people just, I'll get in and do it on the side, and I'm like, you are risking losing people like tens of thousands of dollars.
That's wild.
People, I guess it's not very intimidating to some people. There's a stat that came out. There's 1.5 million people with an active real estate license, and 40% of them did not close one transaction in the first quarter of the year.
Yeah. Woo.
What the?
40%.
So really, it's like all these part-time people, and then like
Majority are. It's the 80-20 rule. 20% of the agents do 80% of the production.
oh, that's interesting. And like, but there's like, I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, even through COVID, it's been a pretty solid couple of years for real estate. So yeah, more power to you. Hell yeah, man.
Solid. It's been a battlefield, but I don't know. I guess someone wants to trust their buying or selling to a part-time agent, and they're stupid.
Sorry
You want-
about it.
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah. Yeah, that's for real. That's for real. Damn, dude, that's crazy. I've never even thought about it like that. Like I've never had interest to get into real estate, but I think it's interesting, the people
Mhm.
that's like you literally go up to people like, hey, this is a house. Do you want to buy this house? That's bananas to me. I don't know. I'd rather tell jokes on
Yeah,
stage.
I feel like a
than
lot
do
of
that.
people that get into it. I feel like a lot of people that get into it are just watching too much, $1 million listing or selling sunset, and they just see the easy stuff because the glamorous parts are awesome. Oh, hey, here's a good, big check, or you just got someone closed, or sometimes you'll have like 2 or 3 closings in the same day. But that side of it's great. Everybody wants that, but it's the time where you're making calls, where you're taking buyers out to see so many homes and missing out on all these offers because it's so competitive, or you're marketing a property correctly and you just can't seem to find a buyer for it, or just, I mean, there's so much competition, losing out with friends or family and going with someone else. That's the stuff that's not fun. But you watch the selling sunset, you watch the $1 million listing, and you're like, oh, I could throw on the blazer and walk people through homes. Here's the kitchen. Here's the living room. That's not what we do.
Yeah, you do a lot more behind the scenes work, staging houses and stuff like that, right?
Yes, that's very little of what I do.
Interesting.
So what would you say, because it's interesting that you bring that up, the whole 40% have it sold, a house in Q1, and there's just a lot of inactivity within your industry, and the people who are active might have like the wrong perception of how to be successful in terms of like making it in that industry in a real sense of the word, phrase. I've noticed that that's the case with life insurance. It's the case with solar. It's the case with a lot of different industries.
You got to start the question up, dude. I think my connection came. You guys completely went off for a minute.
Yeah, you went out. You went away for a little bit.
Yeah, so I didn't hear your question.
You're good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cut out for a sec. Like your video went away.
I got him. But yeah, the trend that I've noticed is that the inactivity, like in the bottom, like 40 or half, and then like the mediocrity of whoever sticks around, it makes me just like realize that what Southwestern actually teaches is so like empty in the professional world, as in it doesn't exist like in the common way that it should. Like not too many people know about their schedule and how important it is to guard that. And then I don't even really have like affirmations posted up anywhere, and like clear crystallized goals. Like there's so many ways that I can benefit from that. Not to make a plug for Southwestern Consulting here, but like it's just fascinating how few industries have the work ethic and the habits and the schedule and like the importance of that as equal as the ability to sell the product. And I feel like you're probably doing a little bit of both, of being proficient at selling as well as like having the discipline and the at bats and, you know, getting your numbers in and that whole deal, right? How would you
I mean, that's
go ahead?
no, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, how would you say that you've stayed good about that after Southwestern? As in, like, what are those things that you're still doing? Whether it's like full on explicit, like I write out my goals and put affirmations on my mirror and that whole stuff. I mean, what do you still do to this day? What helps you?
Yeah, don't have a ton of, well, like I got like a vision board. Don't have like the affirmations all over, but I got a vision board right by my office. Schedule just like every other one is super important. There's like hot times if you're going to be trying to reach out to like prospects or clients. So you try to keep that in your schedule and protect that. Numbers game. I mean, the more people you talk to and meet, more people are going to possibly sell or buy or refer you even. I mean, a lot of times it's not. That's something that I kind of wish that I learned a little bit more in Southwestern was referrals. Like we would always try to get like pre-approach on the next houses, but I think it would have been I don't know how they do it now, or maybe I just wasn't listening during this part. But just legitimately asking for, hey, who else do you know that could you like, even if they're clear across town, just referrals are so key.
Right.
Money.
Right, that's true. I mean, I think when I went into the life insurance game, like that there were different things that Southwestern didn't teach that I thought, because I thought I knew everything about running a business, and like there was little things that I was like, oh, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know that you could do that. I didn't know that that's how things worked. And it's more like that, even just like the general bookkeeping. Maybe it's different now, but I never felt like I had a lot of help with like figuring out like why things were important to keep track of for like tax purposes, other than just like, hey, just keep your receipts. And we're like, okay, you're just, sure, I'll keep my receipts, and you kept them in the little thingy, right? But then you're doing taxes the next year and you're like, I don't know what the fuck any of this is, like that. Those aspects of it didn't get taught, I feel like, and that and those were important. I felt so when I went into different industries and like moved on, that was something that I got slammed with, because I'm like, I didn't know any of this stuff, like I thought I knew everything I needed to know. And I needed everything I needed to be successful, which is helpful from Southwestern, but like the actual running of the business, I had no idea,
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, after my first couple of years in real estate, I didn't even realize that I was going to owe money in to the IRS. Nobody told me that. I'm like, I owe? Because like when I was selling books, I always got a refund, because when you're a college student, you get all this other stuff. Or I'd break even. But yeah, I mean, I remember one year I was like, I owe $2,000. I don't have $2,000. Like, barely getting by.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah, it's
you live and learn.
So
yeah,
Chris,
at least by the time you're making good money.
Yeah, by the time you're making good money, you can afford to pay your taxes. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. And you have it saved up. You actually know. It's not like you go from making like 0 to 250,000, and then you're like, oh man, you owe the IRS 40 grand. Usually there's a smaller step. So at least when I learned, hey, you gotta pay taxes as a independent contractor, it was like, oh, okay, I'll find a way to get $2,000.
Yeah, right. Tons of money, just rolling it. That's fun, man. So that being said, what's like the thesis lesson that you took away from books that like you still think about to this day? Like for me, I'm like, it's hard not to have these conversations with Andres and our guests like twice a week. Like there's so many things that people bring forth and that I think about kind of constantly. I'm honestly blessed to be able to even ask you, Chris, like, I know the fact that you've gone on and had success, and you have a vision board and that whole deal. Like, I suppose, what's the most common theme, the overarching theme from your Southwestern Advantage days to real estate and life every day?
Let's
Big,
see.
nebulous question.
Yeah, during our little prep, you should have told me this one was coming.
Yeah, right.
This one was out of the blue.
That would have been a good one to know. That would have been a good one to know. All right, let's see.
Normally, we just we follow the trend, but that was a good question, Nick.
It came out of me without prompting.
Well, I would just say, because like before I ever, sold books or anything, I was probably partied a little bit too much. So I never thought that I actually could like be successful or like do well in sales. I was trying to get my degree in accounting for the first 3 years. I was just going to sit behind a desk and crunch numbers. But if you like believe it and are willing to work hard, then like you can be great at anything. Everybody has the potential to be great. Like I just said, hey, I want to, work hard and sell books. Like I didn't know if I would be good at it. I just put the hard work pays off. I'll throw a couple out there and then you guys can edit them and oh, that's not how live works.
no, man, but like we just like to get real with
if you believe it, you can achieve it.
Hey,
yeah.
Man. But that says a lot, because I mean it takes a life-changing experience to go from someone who goes, I'm never going to be successful, to what you're doing now, man. Like the growth that you went through then personally to get to the point where, everybody has struggles, right? Everybody wakes up every day and has certain things in their life, whether it's personal or business or otherwise, like, but you are successful, dude. Like I think of Chris Q and I'm like, yeah, or I think of the Q family in general. I mean, I know your sister and your sister-in-law, right? Like you guys are all badasses. And so it's cool to I didn't know that about you. I thought you just kind of were always this cool, calm, collected, confident person.
Not at all. No way. I didn't think I was going to sell books because I just had other, not positive things to do. Like and that was one thing whenever I would listen to like GRS and, you hear a lot of these people, oh yeah, and they were an all-star athlete in high school or they played college sports. And I was just like, yeah, I was not the typical book person. Like I didn't go, I wasn't setting 4x100 medley records in, high school or getting great grades or anything like that. I was kind of screw up. So that was kind of like when I saw Southwestern as a way to kind of rebrand myself and turn things around.
Damn, dude. Good for you, Chris. That's I'm proud of you.
Hey, thanks, man.
I mean, damn, I didn't know that at all. I've always known you as like, because I didn't meet you until after that first summer. And after that first summer, you're this like awesome dude. I didn't, I'm just knowing this guy. I didn't know any of that. Damn.
Well, if you believe it, you can achieve it. Right.
That's right, man. We should just drop a bunch of cliches and then we can go back and edit this later. And
wrap it. No, we're going to leave it raw. That's how we like it. Just raw.
Raw.
No, man. I like that. That's just so good.
No.
Well, that might be a good wrap up thought from Chris.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Chris, do you have like a showstopper story, like the story of all stories to share from your 5 summers that you haven't shared yet?
Besides that,
what have other people done as far as like stories? Like, are they telling pony stories? I know you said my brother said one about being in jail.
So it's whatever you want, man. It's like the most like memorable experience from the Southwestern program. Yvette shared a couple Sizzler stories, and we've had a few like get back type stuff, but mostly it's all been Bookfield related.
Omar shared like some wisdom, like for people who are considering doing something hard, whether it's selling books or not. He was just like, here's what you should do. Everyone has kind of done their own thing. But if it was like, maybe you're talking to, because this is listened to by current book people, non-book people, book people, And so, if there's one thing that you're like, hey, you know what, this is my experience with this is what I liked or love, that would be good to share if you have that.
Let me think for a second.
So these are the deep questions.
Well, while you think about that, I'm going to speak over the fact that you're thinking about that to say, hey, we're looking for sponsors, Ponytails Podcast. You can get sponsored on a monthly basis. People who want to plug their product, their service, what have you. We know a lot of cool alums do a lot of cool things. And so we're looking, to throw some numbers out there, maybe like $100 for a month or $200 or
Yeah, I agree.
$50.
Everyone watching this,
just
for them.
What we're trying to do is increase ad spend and reach to, of course, within the network, and maybe that's just like hyper localized ads to get in front of alumni, but also we do want to make this something appealing to a wider audience to maintain our growth. And so like we're going to be making a video that talks about all of the lingo and like share the actual pony story from Mort. Like I would love to splice in the audio and just hear about the two twins, the positive, the negative, all that good stuff. So that's kind of what we got in mind for our growth path, which is what money would go towards, is the create.
Oh, we lost Nick.
Lost him. Am I still getting paid to do this?
Absolutely. We're going to pay you $500 for this per minute.
Wow.
No, but while Nick unfreezes, yeah, no, we've had a pretty solid success to kind of like, right, everybody's been having bad Wi-Fi today. To kind of like finish that thought. I mean, yeah, we'd love to keep doing this. It'd be fun to kind of continue. Hey, he's back. There he is.
Hey.
You froze there for a minute. So yeah, our reach is starting to get pretty solid. This is the second month in a row of 4,000 plus people reached, which just kind of means we're doing something good. And so, yeah, it's a good chance for people to share and plug anything that they want to plug through a sponsorship. So that'd be good.
And donors are welcome too.
Donors on Patreon as well. Okay, was that plenty of time to think, Chris? Did you come up with the Grand Slam?
The Grand Slam, man, that's a lot of pressure. I thought, oh.
If not, that's okay too. Did you hear that?
I mean, as far as like, I wouldn't say I have this like, well, I mean, there's a pretty good story. I mean, I'm sure it was taught by a lot of people. I mean, it was, my first summer. I mean, I was having not like a bad day or anything. I sitting on like 68 units, and it's like 9:15 at night. I go cold knock on this like newer construction-ish house. It's not like fully finished. So, I go down the driveway, and it's like pitch dark, and this guy like meets me. They meet you like, oh shit, like this guy is definitely not happy. If they were happy, they would wait at the door. I just tell him what I'm doing, and he goes, I'm not interested. And I like take 2 steps away, and I'm like, oh, if you're not, and then I do my second approach. If you've not heard about me, and I dropped a couple dad names. I don't even know if he knew any of them, but then he's like, all right, I'll give you 5 minutes. We can sit on my front. It wasn't even like, it was just like a slab of cement. Like it wasn't stairs up. He lived on a ranch home. So I literally just sat down on this cement, and I just started like going through my thing. And he's just like, all right, what are you doing? What are you showing? And then I pull out, I'm like, well, how old are your kids? He's like, I've got 7 kids, all ages. I'm like, oh shit. So I pull out like the kids' books, and then he's like, okay, how much for all of it? I was like, I don't know, like $1,500. I was like, but you don't have to get all of it. You can just get like one or a few of the books. He's like, I kind of want it all. I was like, oh shit. I'm really glad I second approached him. So then go inside to the table. It was like he was with his brother, and I just pull out everything that they're getting, and then I have like those like slicks, and I was like, this is everything, and I'm like trying to calculate it up, and he has a check, and he just hands it to me, and he's like, can you fill it out for me? And I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing that. He's like, well, I can't write. Like he does landscaping work, and he owned his own business. Great, awesome guy, but he like couldn't write or like read, and that's why he wanted to get everything for his kids. He's got 7 kids. kind of had to coach him through writing a check to me.
Wow.
Whoa.
But yeah, I mean, that was 9. I probably left that house like 10 o'clock at night.
Nice.
More than doubled my day for it was just, he was my pony my first summer.
Hell yeah.
Whoa. Damn. The dad that wanted to do it for the kids because he didn't get the education. He was illiterate.
He didn't get the education. He had a successful landscaping business, but he breaks his back for his work, and he's like, yeah, I don't want my kids to not. And it's funny though, because like the whole scam stuff had already started, and I didn't have any stuff to give him. He paid for it in full, and I remember like, I think it was whatever. I think I made a special trip to the bank that next morning just to get that deposited. I'm like, please don't cancel, and he didn't ever cancel.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's always a fun return back. All right, I got everything. No tack-ons here. You just take it.
Drop the bag.
Yeah, I think I tried like tacking on like Family Bible Library or something like that, like stuff that we hadn't been introduced to at that point.
Yeah,
that was the first year. I was like, like calling Brandon. I'm like, hey, if I go back there, like, can I get like some volume libraries to tack on or something? He's like, oh, maybe.
That's funny.
Damn, dude, that's pretty dope.
And
That's a solid story.
Funny story.
9 p.m. That's a late knock, second approach bag.
Cold knock too.
Cold.
I never met him. Had no
During
pre-approach
bad
on
PR.
him. It was just a nice house. I was like, I'm gonna go knock on this one.
Bad PR. Like,
And a perfect example of like the type of prospect one might like discount away from being a good prospect. And I don't know, bye. And then they buy.
And he came outside to meet you. That's definitely a sign of like.
Yeah, that's what was scary. I mean, he was a tough guy. I was like, yeah, you barely get out of your car when you're because they got long driveway. So as soon as they see lights, they're not expecting anyone. They're like, all right, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Meet you there, and I was just like, I don't know, trembling. Have you not heard about me? And then you just drop name. Okay, I've heard of one of those guys. Show me what you're doing in the light.
Wow.
That's baller. Good
A
stuff,
lesson
bro.
of persistence, my friend. That's
Exactly.
awesome. Cool, man.
Exactly.
Well, do you have any final words you'd like to share, Chris, or is that a good end?
If you're looking to buy or sell real estate in the Des Moines, Iowa, or Chicagoland area, you can let me know.
That's right.
Okay.
Look up Chris Q, and that's Kew. Chris, that's CHRISQ. Look him up on Instagram, Facebook, online. Google him. Southwestern stuff. He'll be there. He'll be there to sell or purchase your home with you.
Yep.
That's who I would go to if I was in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. You were looking for a little bit at one point.
Yeah, I was looking into Chicago for a little bit. I'm gonna be moving here soon, so we'll see where to. Awesome, man. Well, Nick, who do we got coming up then?
So this Thursday, again, thank you, Chris. This Thursday, we are going to be graced with Brian Talebi. Again, I hope I'm saying that correctly. He sold for a number of summers. I don't even know too much about the guy on a personal level, but he's like gained a lot of like, fame on Facebook for posting pictures with like Richard Branson and Dan Bilzerian at Nyland. It's really interesting life stuff that he's got going on. This Saturday, we're going to have our first Saturday episode in the morning. So tune in for Patrick Tullius out there in El Paso. Another legend out there in his own right within the TD organization. The 6th is open, but the 9th, Sunday, we're going to be having Eric Woodward, an ASU alum. I might meet up with him here in Tempe. We'll figure out if that's possible. Then after that, we've got Matty Greger and Dylan Buck on the 23rd. So all this is good stuff in the works. It's been a pleasure, and we're continuing to grow. So thanks for tuning in.
Heck yeah, man. Chris will have this episode uploaded and everything by tonight and tomorrow morning. That is all for now. I
Cool.
am Andre Scambo, your co-host, Victor Verdi, and we've been hanging out with Chris Q. Peace out, everybody.
Adios.
Bye.